Good morning, I'm Fox 4 meteorologist Andrew Shipley, and we're continuing to track Tropical Storm Milton in the Bay of Campeche there in the Gulf of Mexico. And we are seeing Milton strengthen here. We just got the newest advisory at 11 o'clock from the Hurricane Center. Now winds 65 miles an hour, gusting to 75. So approaching hurricane strength. We maybe even hit that later today. Moving east-southeast at 6 miles an hour. Now here's the latest cone from the Hurricane Center, having Milton become a hurricane maybe later today, up to a 100-mile-an-hour storm by tomorrow morning, a Category 3 hurricane by Tuesday, so rapidly intensifying over the next, say, 24 to 48 hours, and then a major hurricane, Category 3 storm approaching the Florida coastline, the Gulf coastline, there as we get in towards Wednesday. Landfall maybe midday Wednesday if the current forecast projections are correct, somewhere between Citrus County and Collier County. So we still have a very broad uncertainty into where Milton will go, but pretty much anywhere along the Florida Peninsula will feel Milton in some regard, because we're all going to be on the dirty side, especially to the start of things, and then we'll watch where that landfall is as we get a little closer in time. But here is the latest spaghetti models, starting to get a little bit closer consensus here, maybe Tampa to Fort Myers. So that means here in Southwest Florida, we need to be paying very close attention to Milton and its track. And if we are on the south side of where that landfall is, we could see catastrophic storm surge. Now, we are still waiting for those watches to be issued. When those watches are issued, that's when those surge models will start to run. We'll get a better sense of where that surge could be. But I do want to point this out. So here's where the models were this morning. That's the blue line. Models have shifted south from maybe Sarasota, Manatee County down to more Sarasota, Charlotte County. So that dips south closer towards us, more impacts to us here in Southwest Florida. Now, that can shift still here over the next day or two. Remember, we're still 3-4 days out from any potential landfall of Milton. So what we have to watch the trends as we move through the next couple of days. Here's our in-house model. This only goes out 3 days. So you can see Milton strengthening there north of the Yucatan and then approaching the Florida coastline as a very powerful hurricane there 10 a.m. Wednesday. So like I said, it's still offshore Wednesday morning, could be Wednesday afternoon, which is closer to that high tide time in the second half of the day here. But let me pick this model up here in the European model, and you can see, again, that landfall there in the afternoon hours there Wednesday. You also notice a cold front to the north. So that's going to be interacting with Milton as it makes landfall. Could slide in some drier air on the back side of this. Either way, we do expect as Milton pulls away that cold front to move in, and we'll start to see some drier air moving in as well as maybe a tick down in temperatures. But as for rain chances today, 90%. We've seen that rain already here this morning. That's expected to pick up the second half of the day and linger into Monday, especially Monday morning. And then we're watching another round of showers and storms building on Tuesday ahead of Milton, and then obviously Milton making landfall there on Wednesday. So here's the latest projections in terms of rainfall on the European model between now and Thursday morning. 4, 5, 6 inches worth of rain. And this is on top of the rain that we've seen already fall today in the last couple of days. The ground is saturated, so it's not going to take much to get flooding. Take a look at some of the numbers here over the last, say, 48 hours. 5 inches, 6 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches there in Immokalee. We've had a ton of rain, and that's why we do have that flood watch in effect for all of Southwest Florida from now until Thursday morning, because we are watching that potential. A heavy downpour could cause at least street flooding, if not more. So, again, watching that very closely. So what do we know right now? 1-2 punch. Obviously watching the heavy rain today into tomorrow. Milton likely making landfall on Wednesday, but it's still too early to know the exact impacts. We'll start to get more of those details tonight and tomorrow as we start to narrow in that forecast. But until then, I want you to start to prepare for potential major hurricane in making landfall here somewhere along the Gulf Coast of Florida. No matter where we're at, we will feel it here in Southwest Florida. As for right now, continuing to track a broad area of low pressure out ahead of Milton. That's what's bringing us our rain here today. And we've already seen rounds of heavy rain, especially in Collier County and coastal Lee and Charlotte County. We do expect that to continue here today with on and off rounds of showers and thunderstorms. You also notice peak temperature today with all the clouds around, 81 degrees there right around 2 o'clock, and kind of hanging out in the upper 70s with all the rain. So here's the latest guidance here. 2 o'clock, widespread showers and storms here for us today, continuing into tonight and even on Monday morning. Still looking at rounds of showers and storms expected there for us. So still very wet throughout the day on Monday, and latest projections in terms of rainfall. Looking down at Collier County. 8-9 inches of rain. That's why we're watching that potential for flooding, because we've already seen so much rain already here over the last couple of days. Now, obviously, with all the cloud cover around, we are keeping temperatures down, lower 80s, probably some of us not even getting up into the 80s. And then tonight, still watching rain and thunderstorms, 73 degrees for us. And again, watching the next couple of days, it's got a lot of changes in our forecast. I want you to stay hyper tuned to the forecast the next couple of days. So thunderstorms today, thunderstorms tomorrow, scattered storms on Tuesday, and then Milton arriving on Wednesday. Now, behind Milton, again, nicer weather on the way. Kind of remember after Ian, how nice it was the last couple days, the days after Ian. Kind of like that again. We get a late storm with a frontal boundary behind it, and yet that drier air in place, 80s in the forecast, 60s there in the overnight.